Good evening and welcome to the Paramount City Council. This is a special notice that public participation and accessibility for the City Council meeting scheduled for today, November 17th, 2020, pursuant to Executive Order N-29-20, executed by the Governor of California on March 17th, 2020, and as a response to mitigating the spread of coronavirus known as COVID-19, the meeting of the City Council scheduled for Tuesday, November 17th, 2020 at 5 p.m. will allow members of the public to participate and address the City Council during the open session of the meeting via live stream and or teleconference only. And with that, I will turn it over to Mayor Peggy Lemons to open our meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno. The November 17th meeting of the Paramount City Council is called to order. Can I have roll call of council members, please?
Councilmember Aguayo.
Here.
Councilmember Guillen.
Here.
Councilmember Quer Stallings.
Here.
Vice Mayor Olmos. Here. Mayor Lemons.
Here. Okay, tonight we're going to start with a presentation. Tonight we're making a presentation to a very special group, which is MUSA, and MUSA stands for Mujeres Unidos Sirviendo Activamente, or Women United Serving Actively. They are certainly very active in Paramount. We've recognized this group in the past, but they volunteer in our community so consistently that we are again thanking them for their latest efforts. On the screen are some photos of those efforts. Most recently, they worked at encouraging residents to participate in the U.S. Census. They were part of car caravans that traveled to various neighborhoods, and they went door to door delivering information about the importance of the census. In all, they spent up to 4 hours a day and 4 days a week for 2 months. It was fantastic. Then they quickly moved over to Halloween. For our drive-through Fright Fest, they put together more than 6,000 bags of candy and helped hand them out at the event. They also gave attendees face masks that night that were donated by J1 Foods, a local business. By the way, we'd like to thank J1 Foods very much for their generous and thoughtful donation. MUSA will be handing out 4,000 more of these masks that the city will provide from the J1 donation. They will give them to families in the Sands neighborhood. Next month at our Breakfast with Santa drive-through event on December 11th, MUSA will be giving out apples and candy cane bags, which they will prepare as they do every year. They are always available for us, and they're always supporting the city and making things better for Paramount residents. Their engagement in the community and their positive impact is inspiring and greatly appreciated. Now we have some taped remarks from MUSA, President Erika Eras and Board Member Georgina Arceo.
Por 15 años, nuestro objetivo ha sido ayudar a mujeres a que identifiquen sus valores y habilidades y aplicarlos en su desarrollo personal. Parte de este desarrollo se lleva a cabo a través del servicio comunitario, como la colaboración en actividades cívicas y de recreación con la ciudad de Paramount. Lo que nos mueve a cada una es el corazón y el amor a nuestra comunidad, el querer dar presencia a nuestras voces y a compartir con otros lo que hemos aprendido. En cada una hemos reconocido fortalezas de liderazgo, tenacidad, tolerancia y compasión. Y unidas integramos estos valores en el desarrollo de actividades que realizamos. Somos mujeres, mamás, hijas, abuelas, que servimos por el gusto de ser parte del crecimiento de nuestra comunidad. MUSA les quiere agradecer a las diferentes organizaciones que apoyan nuestros esfuerzos, especialmente la alcaldesa Peggy Lemons y los miembros del concilio, al Departamento de Parques y Recreaciones y a los representantes electos y su staff de nuestro distrito. Es un honor para nosotros recibir este reconocimiento y aún más poder servir a nuestra comunidad de Paramount. Muchas gracias.
Good afternoon, Mayor Peggy Lemons and members of the Paramount City Council. My name is Georgina Arceo, Head of Public Relations for MUSA. For 15 years, our mission has been to help women identify their own abilities and power and apply them to their personal and professional development. like our collaboration of the civic and recreational activities with the city of Paramount, we believe that this development takes the form of community service. Each one of us is motivated by our hearts and love we have for our community. We want to create a space in which our voices are heard and share what we have learned with all our neighbors. Each one of us will recognize our individual strength, leadership, perseverance, tolerance, and compassion. And united, we strive to integrate these values into our work and activities. We are mothers, daughters, and grandmothers, women who serve with love and joy, who are watching our community grow together. MUSA would like to thank the different organizations who support our efforts, especially Mayor Peggy Lemons and the members of the City Council, the Departments of Park and Recreation, and the elected representatives and their staff who serve our district. It's an honor to receive this recognition and an even greater honor to serve Paramount community. Thank you.
That was great. That was great. And ladies, if you're listening, from all of us up here, we think you're absolutely amazing. I'm really sad that you're not going to be having your conference this year. It's always so educational and such a great time for people to get together. I know you started as a very small group of women just wanting to share knowledge and give back to your community, and you've done a phenomenal job at both. So we do all applaud you here at the City Council, and thank you for all of your service and all of your efforts. With that, we will move to City Council public comment updates.
Yes, Madam Mayor and Council. For the November 3rd, 2020 City Council meeting, we have two speakers or two public commenters that we will be going over their requests or issues or concerns and the follow-up to them. The first one was Mr. Gerald Serta. His issue was timing of street lights that need to be changed given the end of daylight savings time, and then also uneven curbs and streets throughout the city. As a result, public works staff contacted Mr. Serta and informed him that the timing of the streetlights are managed by Edison, and that schedule will be changed. Various streetlight outages have also been reported to Edison as well. When we spoke with Mr. Serta about the uneven curbs and sidewalks that he brought up to the City Council, at the time he had no specific locations. We encourage Mr. Serta, if he does see these uneven curbs and gutters, to report them directly to the city. And we do have, I like to point out, a very active inspection program for our sidewalks and gutters and curbs as well. So we'll be looking out for any, again, that are uneven, but we encouraged him to call us directly when he comes across them. The second public commenter was Mr. Alfredo Buenuelos, and he submitted his public comment via email. He had several items to go over, so which we'll address each one one by one. The first one was the erroneous Zoom call-in information that was published for the virtual neighborhood watch meeting that was held on October 28th. As I reported to you at the November 3rd council meeting, there definitely was an oversight by staff when we promoted the Zoom information for the virtual meeting. Flyer was also used as the image for the e-newsletter that went out, but it didn't contain any Zoom information. At the time, we did apologize for the error. We've put in checks in place to prevent this from occurring again. And we reminded Mr. Buenuelos that a recording of the meeting is available for viewing on the city's YouTube channel. The second concern that Mr. Buenuelos expressed was that the city did not expend the entire allotment of COVID-19 rental relief grants to residents. And he also mentioned that the city is not doing enough to promote the program to residents. Just as point of clarification, we did receive 2 rounds of federal money, 1 round of state money, and 1 round of Measure H funding from the county. A large portion of these grant funds have been allocated toward assisting tenants in Paramount. So far to date, we've given out 38 vouchers valued at $137. $37,000, excuse me. That was part of the county funding. Additionally, we got our first round of $150,000 from the federal government, and we're just about ready to spend $100,000 of that on approximately 50 vouchers. So we'll have another $50,000 to spend on vouchers as well for that. We recently got another $150,000 from the state. So when all said is done, we have a total of 200 grants that are left to be given out. So we are definitely working on that and to advertise the program. We will be taking flyers about the program to actually says 5 largest apartment complexes and mobile home parks, but it's actually 20. We're going to canvass door to door because we have found that to be more effective at reaching out to the community than simply through the mail or through email or through social media. So we're going to do that at 20 of our largest apartment complexes here in town, as well as the Passage Perilla in the neighborhood. And this will happen this week. We've also tried to promote this program on social media, and we'll continue to do that, as well as our e-newsletter, in addition to around town as well. So, and the third item that Mr. Buenuelos mentioned was that the parking committee has not reconvened. And yes, the parking committee that was established by the council in December of 2019, the intention for that was to be an outlet for residents to share concerns and ideas with staff and the committee. Prior to COVID, the committee voted unanimously to hold in-person town hall style meetings in different neighborhoods throughout town. And the reason why they did this was that each neighborhood has unique parking issues that are to that. So it's a matter of taking the government to the people in a sense. This format was extremely effective at ensuring participation by all residents. It also provides an efficient way for residents and staff to come up with long-term solutions in a face-to-face type of environment. We informed Mr. Buenuelos that shifting to a virtual parking subcommittee meeting would not be as effective. We'll continue to monitor COVID-19 health orders for non-essential in-person meetings and revisit the possibility of in-person meetings when social distancing orders are scaled back. The fourth concern that Mr. Buenuelos brought up is that he would like the city to adopt a landlord anti-harassment ordinance similar to that of the city of Long Beach. A preliminary summary of the Long Beach ordinance was given to the city council over the weekend, and should the council desire further analysis about this topic, direction can be given to us to provide more research back to you. It should be noted, however, that AB 3088, which was passed by the legislature in August and signed by the governor, it provides both a residential eviction moratorium and anti-foreclosure procedural protections. The legislation establishes a legal framework to prevent evictions for tenants who declare an inability to pay all or part of the rent. Additionally, we do work with the Fair Housing Association that does provide tenant protections and assist tenants with knowing their rights and advocating for them. We plan to publicize more of the Fair Housing Foundation services to the community. Lastly, Mr. Buenuelos wants to know if the city is considering adoption of term limits for the city council, and our response to that is adoption of term limits would require an amendment to the municipal code, which is at the pleasure of the city council. And with that, that concludes the public comment updates for November the 3rd.
Thank you, Mr. Moreno. Now we'll move to public comments.
Yes, ma'am. We have 2 verbal and 3 written that came in. We have a third one, so we have a total of 5. So we'll start off with the verbal, and Andrew Villalpando will handle that. Andrew?
Hello?
Good evening. This is City of Paramount calling for Leor Alpern.
Hello, speaking.
Hi, Leor. This is Paramount City Council calling regarding your request for public comment for the Paramount City Council meeting. Your comments will be limited to 3 minutes, and your time will start now.
Great. Thank you so much, and good evening, Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council members, and City staff. It's Leor Alpern, Director of Government and Community Relations at World Energy. It's a pleasure to speak to you again. Just have a few quick announcements to share. First, our company, World Energy, will be having a virtual community meeting this Saturday at 10 a.m. There's a Zoom link as well as a telephone dial-in option. We have shared it via email. and also over our brand new social media page for our Paramount location, World Energy COM, COMM. And also, if anybody who is hearing this announcement would like to reach us via phone, 562-531-2060, we'd be happy to email the notice to you. The meeting will be held, again, over Zoom, and it will be available in both English and Spanish. Just another couple quick announcements. We'll be mentioning this over the virtual meeting. Our community hotline is now available in English and Spanish at the same number I just gave, 532-531-2060. The Spanish option is number 2. And again, I mentioned the new Facebook page that has been put online since I last had a chance to speak to you. And also, we posted there about a month ago a brand new fact sheet regarding flaring at our facility. So those are the announcements. And again, we're hosting a community meeting virtually this Saturday morning for the community, 10 a.m. We hope you all are able to participate. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello?
Good evening. This is the City of Paramount calling for Gerald Serta.
Yes, this is Gerald Serta.
Hi, Mr. Serta. We're calling regarding your request for public comment at the Paramount City Council meeting. You're being broadcast live now to the City Council, and your comments will be limited to 3 minutes, and your time starts now.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, board members, city employees, and fellow residents. I was just hearing some of the comments that the city manager mentioned following up the uneven sidewalks and streets. If you want specific areas, I mean, the city manager does have a organizational chart with public works, recreation, public safety, different areas, different departments, different employees that can go out there and look for these troubled areas. When you ask the residents to be specific on addresses and locations, I don't get paid. I don't get a six-figure salary to sit there and ask the residents to do the city employee's job. But if you need me to do that, I can do that slowly but surely and send you the addresses, poll numbers, like I've done in the past. The other thing was the public parking commission. When you say that it was only brought up, generated to be an outlet for residents, that means that sounds like your response sounds like the residents are just wasting time bringing issues to city reps if you're not going to address resident concerns, if you're just going to go around and listening, but not doing anything about it. I mean, we're still having the parking issues, and it was mentioned that the easement on Hayter and Alondra was being looked at with LA Department of Water and Power. We still have that issue there. And also, I wanted to bring up the parks. I know Progress Park was made into a supposedly dog-friendly park, but there's still signs that have a dog and red line going across. So it looks like it is dog-friendly when you set up a pole with doggy bags, but then you walk around and you see the dogs crossed out. So it looks like something was done halfway, not completed. Also, the bathrooms in the parks need remodeling or reconstruction because they are falling apart. They're rusted. The doors are rusted, and all it takes is one cut with that rust, get an infection, and who knows what may happen there. But you're charging for the picnic areas. You're charging fees for the picnic areas.
Mr. Serta, you have 20 seconds left.
You are making money, so let's invest that in the parks so that they look decent. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Just for the edification of people who may be listening on one of the items, which is their reporting of anything out there. This one was specific to sidewalks and streets and curbs. please know that staff is out there surveying and looking on a regular basis. But as they go through the city on a regular basis, if there's a specific area that by chance got missed or that is not being addressed in a fast enough manner to satisfy you, that's when we ask residents to please give us the location that they're talking about so that we can go out there and take a look at it and see that it gets done in a timely manner. Not that we need residents out there doing the city staff job. We just want to address your individual needs as quickly as possible. Thank you.
And now, Mayor, we go over to the written comments. I'll turn over to Heidi Luce, our city clerk. Ms. Luce?
Thank you, Mr. Moreno. The first comment is from Jaime Lopez. Tonight, I'd like to ask the City Council if the City Council can give the public an update on the Unity in the Community meetings. It has been made clear for 6 months that the culture at City Hall prioritizes its relationship with law enforcement regarding issues of racial injustice. It is also clear that our local political leadership is unwilling and unable to engage discussions that are relevant to Black Lives Matter in any way that reveals deep knowledge of racial and socio-political history in the United States. Therefore, after asking straightforward questions that have been neglected at every City Council meeting ever since June of this year, I will shift to asking another pointed yet relevant questions that might yet open this dialogue further in the weeks and months ahead. For now, could the City Council or City Manager tell the public what has been achieved since the Unity in the Community events that took place in 2016? What concrete examples can you provide? What lessons were learned, and how are they similar or different to what is being learned now? Also, are the original 2016 events recorded anywhere and available to the public? Thank you, Jaime Lopez.
Thank you. I don't know, John, because we had a specific program laid out for the next Unity in the Community, which I know the health department has since prohibited.
Right.
So before you report on that, I would just like to preface it by saying once again that this committee is an ever-growing, expanding committee, looking for the community's ideas and the community feedback so that we can begin to address the issues as they come to light. There was a pretty good forum set up that Mr. Moreno will tell you about that's been postponed because of COVID. And I think lots of ideas that the committee actually has are going to be postponed because of COVID. But hopefully we're going to be moving forward quickly on that. But once again, you know, offer up your ideas. Don't be critical of the process until you contribute to the process. Call in, tell us, you know, your thoughts on the things that they're discussing. You know, send in your emails, send in your ideas of ways that you think that the committee can address things in a way that's more relevant to you. I know I've discussed things with the committee. I've given them, you know, some ideas that I thought might work. They told me they've heard from community members, which is a great thing, which means that they are reaching to people. So help us make it a success. That's what we're asking of you. Let's make it a success by everybody contributing in every way they can to the dialogue and the processes that can move us forward. And could you report on that for us, John?
Absolutely, Mayor. So far, the Unity Community has had 2 discussions since they were formed. And the first one was on general racial issues. The second one was on police relations and race. Both combined videos that are available to view on our YouTube channel so everybody can see what they were about and what happened. They are reviewed hundreds of times, so we've had several views. Now, for the third discussion, what the committee had wanted to do, had decided to do, was address youth and race. What are the youth of our community facing when it comes to race relations? What are they seeing? And they wanted to have it as a kind of like a forum discussion, not simply town hall, but kind of like almost a one-on-one with adults that they can express their feelings. We didn't want to put the committee did not want to put them on camera and show them all because they wanted them to be comfortable in the setting to express that. We had different types of venues planned to do that. It was going to be indoors. Then we decided, well, because of health department rules, we'll move it outdoors. We checked with the health department and they said neither one is allowed. So unfortunately, that's going to postpone That type of forum, the committee was really wanting to do that, so that will still happen. It'll just be in the near future. We are meeting with them next week to discuss a replacement, some type of other effort that we can do to enhance the ability for this committee to really reach out and spread unity. That's exactly what the message that they're trying to appeal to. So that's
And I think one of the best explanations for anyone who may have participated in the Rotary forums in the past, where I think there's probably a couple hundred kids at least there from the high schools, and they sit around at tables. I'm sure the format's going to have to change with COVID then, and they're given a topic of discussion, and there's a moderator at each table, and there's a lot of exchange of ideas and information and feelings, and that was kind of what they were looking for. So they were going to kind of go one-on-one with a large group of students,
right.
And about race and how it impacts them as youth and their suggestions. So as you can see, there's another model and another way of looking at addressing this issue, but unfortunately, due to COVID and wanting to keep everybody safe, that has been postponed. But we will continue to move forward. Unity in the community is very excited about the feedback that they're getting from residents, and they very much want it, and they want to make a positive impact. So again, help us do that.
Madam Mayor, I have a question. Heidi, did it say the year 2016?
Yes, it did.
So he's referring back to, I think, when Reverend Brady
Had that one.
had the program.
Correct.
Correct. So that's what he wants to know, the results of that. Okay.
Yeah, and I think in that instance, there was a specific issue happening, at the schools and in the city, if I remember, and it was something that, they kind of addressed on their own. They felt comfortable with the way that they had addressed it, and, let the committee just kind of lie after that. And I don't mean LIE, I mean LY. Let it just stay dormant. And, when this issue came up and unity in the community was already a committee in place. And I think that nobody can argue that there's a very different discussion on the table throughout the entire United States about systemic racism. We're very fortunate that this body was already in place and we could get quickly into this. I know I personally have been contacted by several council members from other cities who wanted to know what we're doing, how we're doing it, and they're just beginning to look at doing something in their city. So I'm sure that much like us, they'll start off small, and as they hear from the community and information is generated on which direction we need to go and what issues we need to address, that it will grow just like we are.
Okay, two more.
Thank you.
Luce?
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Honorable City Council members. My name is April Villanueva, and I am a resident of Paramount. I just wanted to thank you for the activities you have been providing for the city since this whole COVID thing started, from the food drives to the educational classes and especially the holiday events. As a mother of a child who is high risk, I appreciate you guys providing some sort of normalcy for our children during this time. I know it can't be easy, especially when none of us have seen anything like this in our lifetime, but you ladies have managed to figure out a way to get things done, and for that I thank you. A huge thank you to all the city employees and volunteers who have made all these events possible as well. They don't go unnoticed, and my family and I will keep them, as well as all of you, in our prayers. May God keep you all safe, and may He continue to bless our wonderful city. Thank you.
Thank you for that comment. Was that it?
There's one more general comment, and then there will be one for item number 8.
Okay.
So the last general comment is from Alfredo Banuelos. Please bring back the parking committee, or let us go back to suspending all parking fines in the city. We need parking solutions, Mr. Moreno. That's it. That's the end of the comment, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Again, just for edification, the parking committee has not been dissolved. It hasn't gone away. It's just moving in the direction that the original committee voted on, which was to have the meetings in individual neighborhoods that are impacted by parking so that we can find the individual solutions for that part of the community. So we all look forward to getting back on track.
Maybe we could do Zoom like we do the neighborhood watch.
Well, the
Maybe we-
problem would be that they looked at is then how do you get that specific neighborhood where the problem is happening? Zoom is not going to target that individual neighborhood. If you move a meeting to that neighborhood, then it's likely the residents from that area will attend. If you do a Zoom meeting, it would be at large.
Unless
and
you
not that
put
anybody
out,
can't attend.
you could put out flyers to a specific neighborhood about parking issues, just like neighborhood watch is specific to certain areas, and have them participate that way. I mean, I understand COVID presents a lot of issues, but you know, we are at a time where we need to think outside the box, and something is better than nothing sometimes. So maybe a virtual Zoom meeting to discuss neighborhood parking issues with flyers, log on and see who logs on, just like, you know, your virtual neighborhood watch.
Yeah, once again, it's at, you know, the pleasure of the majority of the council and staff's recommendations about what's most effective, and we can make those decisions based upon that. Was that it, Heidi?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Okay, with that, we'll move to the consent calendar.
Madam Mayor, we wanted to add the, to go before you on the
I'm
subsequent.
sorry, our item, thank you, John. Could you go ahead and discuss the subsequent item with us?
Yes, Madam Mayor and Council, we've identified a special cause that has a public need and public benefit, and this would be providing financial assistance to needy Paramount families during the Thanksgiving holiday. As a result, we'd like the City Council to add this report to the agenda tonight. We're asking, again, for a vote to agendize this item, not a vote on approval yet at this moment. Just as a reminder, this action does require a 4/5 vote of the council to add this to the agenda.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Moreno. So I'll entertain a motion to add this under new business as item 11. So I need a motion and a second if you would like to add this item.
So moved. Quer Stallings?
I'll second it. Councilmember
It's
Aguayo.
been moved by Cuellar Stallings and seconded by Aguayo that we add the subsequent needs item as item 11 under new business. Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo,
Yes.
Councilmember Guillen,
Yes.
Councilmember Cuellar Stallings.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Olmos.
Yes.
Mayor Lemons.
Yes. Okay, now we'll move to the consent calendar. Can I have a motion to approve, please?
So moved. Almost.
Second, Quer Stallings?
Okay, it's been moved by Vice Mayor Olmos, seconded by Cuellar Stallings. Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo,
Yes.
Councilmember Guillen,
Yes.
Councilmember Cuellar Stallings.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Olmos.
Yes.
Mayor Lemons.
Yes. Okay, we're going to move to item 4, Civic Center Art Piece and Cleaning of Art Pieces Citywide Award of Contract.
Yes, Madam Mayor and Council, we're seeking your approval on a contract for a new art piece at a recent City Council meeting. I mentioned that we had a surprise art piece for the City Council in recognition for the city's first all-female City Council. As you'll see, the report does not reveal too many details about the art piece because I do want it to be a surprise for all 5 of you. But I'll tell you that it's a special nod to the coincidence that our first all-female City Council was elected in the same year as the 100-year centennial anniversary of the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Additionally, we're asking for approval on a contract to clean all of the art pieces around town. So with that, I'll turn it over to John Carver, our planning director, who will go over the item. John?
Thank you, John. Madam Mayor, council members. This item, this item is a request to award a contract to JK Designs in the amount of $103,200 for an art piece at the Civic Center and for cleaning of art pieces citywide. The cost of the Civic Center art piece is $90,000, and the cleaning of art pieces citywide is $13,200. The money for this project would come from the Art and Public Places Fund, which is collected from building permits with a valuation over $100,000. The Civic Center art piece would celebrate the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment to the United States Constitution that gave women the right to vote nationwide. The art piece would also celebrate the historic all-female Paramount City Council. The art piece would be made from bronze and would measure 12 feet in height and 4 feet in width. And here's where the art piece is proposed. That's the Civic Center. The red dot on the aerial on the left, you can see it's just to the east of the War Memorial. It faces Jackson Street, and City Hall is directly to the south there. And then the photo on the right is the location that is proposed. The art piece would be purchased from JK Designs Incorporated. Over the years, the city has purchased numerous pieces from this firm. The art piece at the Clearwater Crossing is the last piece of art that was purchased from JK Designs, and that art piece cost $130,000. The second part of the agreement involves cleaning of outdoor art pieces citywide. The city has many art pieces that are more than 30 years old and have not been professionally cleaned or wax conditioned. The cleaning and conditioning of the art pieces would be done by Sculpture Services of Colorado under supervision by JK Designs. Some of the effects of not cleaning outdoor art include corrosion, calcification, mineral deposits, and darkening from carbon monoxide. Sculpture Services of Colorado has extensive experience cleaning art pieces throughout the country. Looking at the contract, the city's purchasing policy requires contracts over $40,000 to be approved by the City Council. Contracts are to be awarded based on the competence of the contractor performing a service and not solely on cost. Given that the city has purchased numerous pieces over several decades from JK Designs, we are recommending that we use this firm for the project. And it is recommended you award the contract for the Civic Center art piece and cleaning of art pieces citywide to JK Designs in the amount of $103,200, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Madam Mayor, I just wanted to add one more point that emphasize what Mr. Carver mentioned, that the funds for this will not be from the general fund. It's strictly from the art fund, that the intended use is strictly for art.
And I'm assuming that the process would be the same as it is in the past, that we would get options for art pieces, and then is that the plan?
No, in this case, we're selecting the piece on behalf of the council to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment.
So we don't know what it is? Sorry, Madam Mayor.
What's that?
We don't know what it is. It's a surprise. Is that what you said?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Is that
I was reading
issue
her mind.
or
I was reading her mind.
If that's an issue, you tell me. You tell me.
90,000 for something we don't know.
Okay, I will. If you like, you don't have to vote on this tonight. We could bring it back in December if the council really wants to know what it looks like and get their buy-in. That's totally fine with us.
You know, based on past experience, I think that's a good idea, only because I know in the past where there have been projects presented to us that staff was very excited about and council was not excited at all about.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Exactly.
Fair warning. Okay, here we go.
I know it is, and I will forewarn you, it's difficult to come to a consensus because of that, but we always did. But
there will be five opinions.
Yeah, I do think that, but we always manage to come, and we've sometimes just taken the original art piece and tweaked things on it, you know, and the artist has been able to do so.
Sure.
If nothing has been commissioned yet, and of course we'd love to see, you know, what you bring forward, and
you got it.
I love the idea of what you're celebrating, you know,
of course,
without a doubt.
That was a positive note.
I just don't, you know, for $103,000, I don't want to have any regrets.
Yeah. Actually, it's a 90 for the art piece and 13 to clean all of our pieces.
A $90,000 investment.
There you go. Which we will probably want the part of the contract approved tonight to clean the art piece.
Yes, please.
If you don't mind.
Yes.
I think I could take a towel with some vinegar and go around it for $13,000.
We offered.
Yeah, but there's how many art pieces? There's like a lot. We have a lot of outdoor public art, and it's also different.
Different
mediums.
materials.
You know, you got marble, you got wood, you got plastic. It's going to require.
There are
some
30 art
expertise.
pieces around.
You got metal. Yeah.
30.
So at this point, the idea, unless you guys want something different, would be to approve the cleaning portion of the contract and have staff bring us back what exciting art
Ideas.
piece they're
Uh-oh,
proposing for
pressure's
us.
on.
No pressure, John. No pressure.
Although I know you're extremely respectful of women, still,
Absolutely.
who knows?
Absolutely.
We don't want a a
Fine.
piece with ironing boards and aprons.
Yeah.
Oh,
No.
ouch.
Kitchen somewhere.
Yeah, right?
Ouch, I would never.
I know that. I said, I prefaced it before I made that condescending statement. Okay, so do we
Reading
have
a
a motion
story
in that
book.
regard or further discussion?
No. So I will go ahead and make a motion to approve for the cleaning only and then come back at a later date with some options. Review of options.
Options. Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. Did we not talk about options?
So second, Quer Stallings.
Okay, so it's been moved by, I just wanted to clarify that before we go. So you basically have an art piece drawn right now, right?
Yes, there
Maybe
is
the-
a miniature sculpture, if you will.
Okay,
It's
so let
made
me
out of
ask you
clay.
this, because Vice Mayor almost added the word options.
Yes.
Could we perhaps just see what they have first before
Sure,
we have to spend
sure.
money for options, see if we did like it, and then if we hate it, then we could
Yes.
have
Let me
them design
strike
more
the options word.
Yeah, you can make a motion to preview
Yeah.
Yeah,
proposed.
before we have them go
Yes.
back and have
Yeah.
to spend money on
Absolutely,
more
no.
renderings.
Was it?
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so clarity on that motion would be to approve the cleaning and then to bring us back the art piece for
Intended.
discussion.
Yep. That's
And, but
intended.
you don't have to bring us options at this point, because if we love it, we'll save you the trouble.
Sounds good.
We can't promise you that.
All right.
So
This is
motion
gonna
by
be
Vice
fun.
Mayor Olmos, do I have a second? And seconded by Cuellar Stallings. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo,
Yes.
Councilmember Guillen,
Yes.
Councilmember Quer Stallings,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Olmos,
Yes.
Mayor Lemons.
Yes. Sorry, we running the surprise.
That's all right.
Okay, item number 5, amendment to number 1 to the agreement with Buckman and Associates.
Yes, Madam Mayor and Council. Construction of well 16 is well underway. There's a lot of oversight that goes into the construction of a municipal well. Professional oversight is imperative just to ensure that everything is done right. And with that, I'll turn it over to our Public Works Director, Ms. Adriana Figueroa, who will tell us why we need an amendment to the agreement. Adriana?
Thank you, John. Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, Bucknam and Associates has been providing us with technical program management support for our Water Well 16 project. As John indicated, water well projects require intensive technical review, particularly during the pre-construction period, when the construction contractor is getting ready to order materials and break ground. Given a much larger number of submittals and requests for information from the construction contractor, which require additional analysis and coordination from the city side, the funding that had been allocated to that existing contract with Bucknam and Associates was significantly impacted. Mr. Bucknam serves in a similar capacity as does our city engineer for citywide street projects. In his experience and expertise in the field of water infrastructure has been incredibly valuable to our project and has kept it moving forward. We are recommending tonight an amendment to the existing contract with Bucknam and Associates for an additional $38,000 in order to continue with this highly needed service through the end of the project, which is anticipated for October of 2021. If approved tonight, a mid-year budget adjustment will be made to the project utilizing water funds. And that concludes my report, but I'll be happy to answer any questions that council may have.
Okay, thank you, Heidi. Questions?
No.
If not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second, Councilmember Aguayo.
Moved by Vice Mayor Olmos, seconded by Councilmember Aguayo. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo,
Yes.
Councilmember Guillen,
Yes.
Councilmember Quer Stallings,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Olmos,
Yes.
Mayor Lemons.
Yes. Okay, item number 6 is payment authorization for the installation of fire and water services at 7317 Somerset.
Yes, Madam Mayor, this is also a water-related item, so our Public Works Director, Adriana Figueroa, will handle this item as well. Adriana?
Thank you, John. Madam Mayor, members of the council, I'm actually going to ask Rebecca to help me with the slides since I had a little bit of an issue with my fingers, so I'm sorry about that. All right, so let me get right into it. This item is a payment authorization for the installation of a fire service at 7317 Somerset Boulevard. The project site is the location of an industrial building that caught fire back in 2019. Can you go to the next slide? Thank you. As you can see, the subject location is north side of Somerset between Garfield and Texaco. It's actually west of Garfield, as you can see it in the map. As part of the requirements to reconstruct the building, the fire department required the installation of a fire service line. This is common for large industrial buildings and properties. The property owner pays for the installation of the service at the time the permits are issued, and we're essentially a pass-through agency that collects the funds and ensures that the installation is done properly. As you can see from the picture, that's basically the final product, is the fire service installation. The total cost for the work was $46,050, and the work was performed by Doric Construction, who submitted the lowest bid. According to the city's purchasing policy, non-professional services in excess of $25,000 require approval by the city council. The city has already received the entire amount of $46,050 from the property owner and have the funds ready to issue the payment. So with that, it is recommended that the city council authorize the payment for the installation of a fire service at 7317 Somerset Boulevard in the amount of $46,050. And that concludes my report, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Adriana. Questions? Can I have a motion?
This is Councilmember Aguayo. I move the item.
Second, Quer Stallings.
Moved by Councilmember Aguayo, seconded by Councilmember Cuellar Stallings. Can I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo,
Yes.
Councilmember Guillen,
Yes.
Councilmember Cuellar Stallings,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Olmos,
Yes.
Mayor Lemons.
Yes. Next item is a award of contract for merchant card services.
Yes, Madam Mayor and Council, this next item is a contract with Bank of the West to provide credit card services at City Hall. If approved by you tonight, we'll be then able to accept credit cards at City Hall for things like building permits, plan check, water bills, parking citations, etc. This continues our request to be as customer service friendly as possible to our residents and business owners. And with that, I'll turn it over to our Finance Director, Ms. Karina Liu, who will handle the item. Karina?
Thank you, John. Good evening, Madam Mayor and members of the council. The item before you is an award of contract for credit card merchant services to Bank of the West. This is to expand the payment option at City Hall, particularly to our business partners, and also provide further convenience to our residents. In the past decade, different payment options online have been added in the areas of utility billing, parking citation, and also recreation for class registration and facility reservation. As for City Hall, majority of payments are really for utility billing, and currently not only they can pay cash or check over the counter, customers have the option to pay with credit card online or using our device that is set up at customer service. By expanding our payment option to credit cards, not only it will benefit customer service department, it will also allow customers at planning department, usually contractors or businesses, when they come to pull permits, plan checks, or even take out a business license, they'll be able to take care of their business at planning department and then pay the fees right there and then without coming back to customer service and make the payments. This is an added convenience to our customers. Since the project began, we have been working with a consultant, Bison Technologies, to help analyze the complicated fees that come with different credit cards. Requests for proposal was sent to 17 qualified companies, and we received 6 proposals. Bison helped narrow it down to top 3 companies, and they are Bank of the West, Paymentus, and GovPayNet. Based on the cost and responsiveness, Bison recommended Bank of the West as the top provider. In general, Bank of the West is very well respected in the credit card processing community. As I mentioned earlier, credit card fees are quite complicated, as each card comes with different rates, and different rates can be applied to different type of transactions. Bank of the West proposal includes an interchange rate, authorization fee, and for a debit card, it will have a PIN debit fee and a monthly cost, and also a separate fee for American Express card. At this point, we do not know how many customers will come to City Hall and utilize the credit card payment option. Assuming 20 to 30% participation, the annual cost to the city is approximately $20,000 to $30,000 a year. As part of this project, we also look at charging a convenience fees to the customer as we are providing a convenience to them. However, as we are still in the middle of pandemic, staff feel that this is not the right time at this point. However, in the next year, we will monitor the transaction history and analyze its card fees. Also, Bison Technologies will continue to help us monitor the rates to make sure that we are not being charged excessive fees. At any time when we feel that this becomes a financial burden, we will revisit the convenience fee model at that time. With that, this concludes my report. It is recommended that the council authorize the city manager to enter into contract with Bank of the West to provide merchant card services for credit card payments made by members of the public to the cities for fees and services. That wraps up my report. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Karina. Are there questions?
No questions. I'll move the item.
Oh, second.
Moved by Vice Mayor Olmos, seconded by Councilmember Aguayo. Can I have a roll call, please?
It was actually Councilmember Cuellar.
Did I? By Cuellar, I'm sorry. Seconded by Councilmember Cuellar.
Councilmember Aguayo,
Yes.
Councilmember Guillen,
Yes.
Councilmember Quer Stallings,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Olmos,
Yes.
Mayor Lemons.
Yes. Okay, the next item is to authorize the purchase of a license plate reader and a premium speed trailer. And so we'll have the staff report first, and then we'll have the public comment, and then we'll move into questions.
Great.
Okay?
Sounds great, Mayor. The next item is for the purchase of a combination license plate reader and speed radar trailer. We've mentioned this to the City Council in the past that this is as a possible effective tool to be used in our battle with street racing and just general speeding throughout the city. There are also, what you'll hear, there are also other crime impact benefits of this trailer. A portion of the funding will be from a grant, and the remaining portion will need to come through the general fund. So with that, I'll turn it over to our Public Safety Director, Ms. Adriana Lopez, who will handle the item. Adriana?
Thank you, John. Good evening, Madam Mayor, council members. As John stated, this item before you is for the authorization of the purchase of a license plate reader, and I'll go into some of the background for this grant. Since 1997, the City of Paramount has been a grant recipient of the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant, also known as JAG. The Department of Justice funds JAG to support crime-fighting efforts through federal funding to local law enforcement agencies. DOJ recognizes that JAG offers a cost-effective way for local law enforcement agencies to fight crimes. The JAG amounts vary from city to city, and they're determined by crime statistics and population formulas. So every city who receives this is not going to receive the same amount. In fiscal year 2020, DOJ awarded the City of Paramount approximately $21,000. The JAG does require that we take the following actions, which is to develop a grant project, to conduct a public hearing, which the City Council did, and during that time, we presented the grant project. And in addition, we are responsible to prepare and submit financial and progress reports in a timely fashion, which are usually on a quarterly basis. Now, to go into the specifics of the speed trailer, what it does, it captures license plates and it's submitted to a law enforcement database, and it includes vehicles that are stolen plates, as well as vehicles that might have warrants. And in addition, it captures vehicles of interest. And when we say vehicles of interest, that could also include vehicles that are involved in street racing or also doing donuts. The trailer alerts deputies when a stolen vehicle or stolen plate or a vehicle that has a warrant, that it matches the database, and then it will alert the deputy of the location of that vehicle. In addition, the vehicle the trailer that we're looking at will also have an electronic message board to remind motorists to slow down. And I'll show you a picture of that trailer right now. So this is what it would look like. So as you could see, it has cameras that are secured, and then it also have a message for people to slow down. So as making sure that we stay in compliance with our procurement process, the vendor is a vendor that is referred to as Vigilant Solutions, and it is a proprietary project used by the Sheriff's Department, and the Sheriff's Department has a unit referred to as Advanced Surveillance Protection Unit. That is important because the product has to be compatible with the Sheriff's Department. If not, it's useless to us. So that's why we would have to go with the sole source in this situation, because this is a vendor who has the ability to work with the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department. The proposal tonight, and if the council approves, would be for staff to purchase the speed trailer with Vigilant Solutions in the amount of $55,465. And as John mentioned, we would use two sources, $20,100 in JAG funds and approximately $35,500 from the general fund. And this would be an adjustment that would be needed to be made in at mid-year, I should say, to reflect the dollar amount in the general fund. It is recommended that the City Council authorize the purchase of the speed radar with Vigilant Solutions, and with us using general funds as well as JAG funds. And I would be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions?
I just have one. Are we using all of the JAG funds towards it? Because that said 20,100, and I thought you said 21,000.
I'm sorry, it's approximately, just because we would be using all the grant funds. However, there is a small amount, 3% of the grant, that we have to set aside for the Sheriff's Department database.
Got it.
I just have one question, Madam Mayor, too. Is there, I'm sure there's insurance for this, because, I mean, maintenance for this may be expensive. Is that part of the budget as well, or how does the maintenance work?
Well, usually what happens is when you have a radar of that nature and you have it, if you purchase it through the vendor, it does come with the warranty.
Okay.
However, it won't secure any vandalism or anything of that nature. That's when our insurance through the city would cover that.
Got it.
Need a motion?
Madam Mayor, there was one comment on this item.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The comment is from Alfredo Benuelos. Item number 8 on today's agenda raises enormous concerns about our right to privacy and the risks of misuse of technology under the guise of punitive justice. I urge the Council to reconsider a stance in favor of such invasive technological weaponization to the current state of police surveillance, which represents the possibility of capturing car thieves at the expense of law-abiding citizens' right to privacy. The state's powers to be tracking citizens' commuting patterns should be severely limited rather than expanded. Unfortunately, I was unable to comment on the matter on the date of its public hearing, which raises an important point I have previously raised regarding the mediums and effectiveness of the city's outreach efforts and effectiveness in communicating issues of importance to its residents, as well as promoting civic engagement. Simply complying with an ad in the Paramount Journal is not enough for the city to consider itself to be properly informing its public. Please do not assist in invading our privacy any further. We do not need a license plate reader. Innocent people will be confused for criminals. That concludes the comment, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments?
I just want to say, you know, our Constitution has been clear that a person does have a right to privacy, but on the public streets and in public daylight and with illumination, a person does not have the right to privacy when you're in your private vehicle or when you're on a public street. So it's not a violation of anybody's rights. Just want to make that clear. There's plenty of case law on that. So I just want you to rest assured it's going to be used to reduce crime, not go after innocent persons.
I'm glad you said that, because I was actually going to turn to you and I was going to say, now as far as I know, it's going to read license plates. I don't quite understand the invasion of privacy, because if you don't have anything outstanding against that license plate, you're just a passerby, right?
Right, and case law also says that even if it's an officer behind a vehicle or a reader like this, you have no right to privacy in your license plate. That at any time an officer or a machine like this can enter a license plate into a system, and we have the right to find out who the plate belongs to and if it's registered, so that this is not violating anything.
Okay. I just didn't know if maybe there was some little secret gizmo there that did more than I thought it did. Okay, question?
I have a comment. I've had several residents approach me about what's the efforts that we've been doing to reduce the donuts and also the street racing. So I think this is very essential that we purchase this. I really think it's going to be very beneficial to our city and to our residents.
Madam Mayor, and if I could just add, this would be Adriana. We already have 2 similar readers attached to vehicles. So the reason why we're recommending that we purchase this is that this is a trailer that can be moved around in areas that become of interest. So we already have something in our city.
I was actually just going to ask that question. Is like, I remember some time ago approving cops money for installation of these within the vehicles, and did we still have those? So the answer is yes, we do. But this
Yes,
gives
we
us
do.
more
We have 2.
flexibility. Right?
Yes.
Okay. So if there's no more questions, motion.
So motion moved. Square Stallings.
Second.
I got your motion. I went
Okay.
for a second.
Oh, second.
Okay. So I have moved by Cuellar Stallings, seconded by Councilmember Guillen. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Aguayo,
Yes.
Councilmember Guillen,
Yes.
Councilmember Cuellar Stallings,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Olmos,
Yes.
Mayor Lemons.
Yes. Okay, we're going to move to item 9, citizens option for public safety grant funding.
Sticking with the idea of COPS money, or excuse me, grant funds for law enforcement, we have another grant, and this is something that we do every year. So Adriana Lopez, our public safety director, will handle the item. Adriana?
Thank you, John. Once again, this is in regards to a grant that's specific for public safety. The Department of Justice has provided the Citizens Option for Public Safety Grant, also referred to as COPS, to the city since fiscal year 96-97. And after 25 years of receiving this grant, the city continues to use COPS grant to fund a variety of police activities or suppression. For fiscal year 21, the approved budget for these expenditures includes $156,000. This annual grant does not require a local match, and there's no longer a requirement to hold a public hearing. The approved fiscal year 21 budget reflects our proposed uses for the city's state COPS. We intend to continue to use this money to provide dedicated party patrol, as well as crime suppression overtime to assist with the high volume calls of service, and also to address crime trends in a timely manner. We anticipate spending the total amount of the grant, which once again it's $156,000. And with that, is recommended that the City Council authorize staff to use the state COPS grant to pay for the expenditures outlined in this report. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Adriana. Questions? I have a motion.
This is Councilmember Aguayo. I move the item.
Second, Square Stallings.
Moved by Councilmember Aguayo, seconded by Councilmember Cuellar Stallings. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo,
Yes.
Councilmember Guillen,
Yes.
Councilmember Cuellar Stallings,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Olmos,
Yes.
Mayor Lemons.
Yes. Next, we have a report for achieving change through information outreach and networking.
Yes, another acronym there from public safety. It's actually known also as our neighborhood preservation program. This is an educational item on this long-standing program that we've had. We've had this program for well over 10 years now, and it's budgeted annually in our capital improvement program budget. And it's really our way to make a meaningful impact in different parts of the city in an effort to preserve our neighborhoods. So with that, I'll turn it over to our management analyst, Steve Comperulios, who actually runs this program in addition to dealing with our homeless neighbors. and he has a review for you of the last year of projects. Steve?
Great, thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council members. I'm excited to present this item as it showcases aesthetic improvements that have been made throughout the city via action over fiscal year 2019-2020. Since 2007, the Public Safety Department has been hosting monthly meetings with representatives from the city manager.
Steve, I hate to interrupt you, but is there a way to pump up his mic, or could you speak more directly into it? I'm having a difficult time hearing you.
Let me start over. Since 2007, the Public Safety Department has been hosting monthly meetings with representatives from the City Manager's Office, Planning, Public Works, and Recreation Department to identify projects which enhance the quality of life in the city of Paramount. Projects are focused on safety, creativity, and overall aesthetics, and are funded in the capital improvement project budget adopted annually by the City Council. To enhance the aesthetics of the Garfield Avenue Bridge, artist Candice Galvan painted her trademark faux stone on both east and west side of the walls. At Garfield Park, we had a wrought iron shepherd's curl extension installed on the north block wall to keep individuals from trespassing onto the adjacent property. The vacant lot located on Rosecrans Avenue and the 710 freeway, home of the new digital signboard, was cleaned up of homeless debris and illegal dumping. In an effort to mitigate illegal dumping, a cattle gate was installed to eliminate access to unauthorized vehicles. The rear employee entrance to CVS located on Lakewood and Alondra was a location that homeless neighbors would seek shelter. The 3-foot-high hedge that ran the distance of the cement paved pad provided privacy. With the approval from the business owner, we had the hedge removed and drought-resistant low ground covering was planted. Since this project was completed, we have not witnessed anyone attempting to set up here at this location. To bring some artwork to the west part of town, the El Camino Avenue stairway leading to Rosecrans was transformed into a running creek, complete with a fish jumping in the lower right corner. To improve the aesthetics behind Maya Teriyaki and Japanese Castle, the grass and plants were removed and paved stone was installed. The resident at 8533 Madison reached out to the city because they were constantly having soccer balls fly into their backyard. Naturally, the individual who kicked it there would attempt to retrieve it, most times without permission. To minimize the occurrence of soccer balls landing in this resident's backyard, a 10-foot-high netting was installed above the block wall. To ensure the safety of pedestrians as they crossed Flower Street, 2 rapid flashing beacons were purchased and installed at the existing crosswalk. To improve curb appeal, artist Candice Galvan brought her famous faux stone art to this block wall to improve aesthetics of 15305 Illinois Avenue. Our annual Clutter-Free Paramount event is scheduled for Saturday, January 23rd, 2021 from 8 a.m. till 2 p.m. Last year's event had 320 residents participate and collected 21 tons of large bulky items, 4.5 tons of e-waste, almost 2 tons of tires, and 5,000 pounds of shredded documents. Our upcoming event will provide residents an opportunity to dispose of large bulky items, document shredding, tires, and e-waste. Unlike previous years, all participants will be asked to remove all items from their own vehicles and place them in the containers themselves. And that concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. This program, I remember when it started, and it for edification for the council, it's usually to deal with a specific issue that comes from a large number of resident complaints on a regular basis, and looking for innovative ways to be able to solve those problems. And with each of these, I can remember the complaints being up here, and then, you know, when the improvements were put in place, they just disappeared. So as they said, it started being called the Neighborhood Preservationist Program because that person went into the neighborhoods as part of even Neighborhood Watch, and then, you know, got this specific problem and looked for an innovative way to solve it. So I think it's been a tremendous success. So does anybody have any questions about the program? And know that it exists in case, you know of there's a particular issue, something that's simply putting in a fence or, painting something, artistically can literally, change the
I think
situation.
it looks great. I noticed one of the walls that you showed. The only thing is I'd like to see a follow-up on it. We put so much effort into making it look pretty and nice that we need to do the follow-up effort, because if you look at that same fence on any given day, that business located right behind it has it surrounded with all kinds of stuff. I'll say stuff. And so, we do something really pretty. We just need to do follow-ups and make sure it's being maintained, because it makes a huge difference in all the, small communities in Paramount. So thank you.
I see Ms. Lopez writing down, I think that's 15305 Illinois. Councilmember McGinn, was that the one?
It's on the corner of Illinois and Adams.
Adams, yes.
It's a
Gotcha. Okay.
site.
We'll handle that.
Thank you, Steve.
I had a comment.
Yes. Yes.
I had a comment, Steve.
Where?
I greatly appreciate your hard work on Chester Street. That's my old neighborhood. And I know there was quite a few old neighbors that were kind of concerned about that hedge being there, and that quite a few of the homeless were camping out. But thank you. I greatly appreciate you taking care of that. And I know they're very happy, because I've received a few phone calls regarding that. But thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to the subsequent need item.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I gave an introduction already, so now I will turn it over to Mr. Johnson, who will handle the item. David?
Thank you, John. Mayor and council members. So at the beginning of the COVID pandemic in March, Mayor Lemons actually identified a community need for masks, and the council allocated funds to distribute approximately 30,000 masks to assist our community. Unfortunately, COVID pandemic continues to affect our lives, and for some, it has a terrible impact on food security issues. And Mayor Lemons again approached the city manager, John Moreno, about having the city again step forward to provide assistance to the community, and in this case, to provide a Thanksgiving meal to families in Paramount that are struggling financially. We know that the group out there, Paramount Pride, is working with Paramount Unified School District Student Services to identify homeless families to provide them a $100 gift card for Thanksgiving. There are approximately 88 families that fall into that category. We are also using $3,000 that we received from Supervisor Hahn's office to provide a Thanksgiving meal package, including a frozen turkey, to 45 families that we identified through our STAR After School program. So at the mayor's recommendation, we are now asking that the city council approved a $10,000 allocation to this year's budget to allow the city to contribute to these local efforts and provide a Thanksgiving meal to 100 additional needy families in Paramount. We'll also be working with the Student Services Division of Paramount Unified School District to identify foster families that are working with, foster families that are struggling financially, and any additional homeless families that would not be served by the Paramount Pride Group. And then also any previously homeless families that the district is aware of that are still struggling financially as well. We will also be working with our local school principals to help identify needy families in their areas. And for these families, what we're planning on doing is providing them with a Thanksgiving ham and a $75 gift card to a local grocery store. If we're not able to acquire that many hams, we'll just convert the card to a $100 gift card to a grocery store. If we do come across any families that are experiencing homelessness, we would provide them with a restaurant gift card. There are 2 restaurants that we're currently aware of, IHOP and Casa Adelita, that will be open on Thanksgiving Day. So it gives those families an option on Thanksgiving Day to actually get a meal. And so what we are recommending tonight is approval of that $10,000 allocation to the FY 2021 budget to assist Paramount families with a Thanksgiving holiday meal. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Are there questions, comments? Okay, entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Vice Mayor Olmos, seconded by Councilmember Cuellar. Can we have a roll call, please?
No, not me. No, not me.
Was it you?
No, it was over there on that end.
Oh, a question? Question?
It was me.
Oh, what did I say? Cuellar Stallings? Okay, Aguayo.
We were in harmony, so that didn't matter.
Did you make the motion?
Yeah, I made the motion.
And you made the second?
No, Isabel
Okay,
did.
it was Aguayo. Okay, Vice Mayor almost moved the item, and Councilmember Aguayo seconded it. Can we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Aguayo,
Yes.
Councilmember Guillen,
Yes.
Councilmember Quer-Stalling?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Olmos?
Yes.
Mayor Lemons?
Yes. And I'm just thrilled that, you know, we're going to be able to help some families. I'm sure we'll all be able to enjoy our own Thanksgiving dinner a little better. And along with Paramount Pride, who I understand is going to do 100 families.
We're doing 100 families.
You know, at least 200 of our Paramount families, and I'm sure there are other organizations and services, and hopefully we can see to it that everybody, you know, in the city who is without means to have a Thanksgiving meal can have one. So thank you, everyone. Okay, with that, we are going to move to comments and committee reports, and we're going to start with the council members. And eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'm going to go to you, Brenda, just because you look like you're ready to talk.
I am. I'm ready to talk.
There you go.
So I have a list. You guys ready? No. But actually, I kind of do. I was sitting there thinking and taking some notes, you guys, of some things that I just wanted to talk about tonight. So you guys talked a little bit about the street racing ordinance. So I know our ordinance has been in place for a little bit. So I just want to know, has there been any feedback? How's it going? You know, have the deputies noticed a reduction in takeovers? Has there been any communication from the neighboring cities? Have they seen an increase? So I know that's probably something that you can't answer today, but maybe we can at some time.
Ready to talk to
Oh,
you.
you're ready to answer that, Jen?
I think that's
ready
probably
to
three
see
people.
if public safety has any feedback. I know there was, or maybe the city attorney too. There was one incident of that involved that the deputies were able to use the ordinance. I don't know the final outcome of that one.
Yes.
Go ahead, Adriana.
Yes, John. I know that all three of us probably had something to add to your question, Vice Mayor. Yes, we've been meeting on a regular basis in regards to the street racing. And one of the things obviously was today's purchase of, or authorization to purchase the trailer. And we also had a deputy who was able to witness a vehicle doing a donut and obviously violating some of the California Vehicle Code as well as the ordinance. Wrote a report, and we had our first hearing in regards to the seizure of the vehicle. They did hold a hearing last week, and the hearing officer said that at this point the city has to return the vehicle. We're not going to be able to seize it. However, I think along the process we've been learning in regards to how the deputy should write the report for us to be able to seize the vehicle. And then we also did everything correctly in terms of making sure that the vehicle was not released before the 30 days. So the car still is being held right now or stored for 30 days. So although the vehicle is going to be returned to the registered owner, they're probably going to be facing fines about maybe $3,000 for the storage, the vehicle release. They had to be part of a hearing. So in regards to other cities, I think maybe Sergeant Fitzgerald would be better equipped to answer that with the Lakewood station cities.
And Adriana, if I may interject, to the vehicle that she was referring to, it was registered to Wilmington?
Actually, yes, it was registered. The registered owner lived in Wilmington. The driver was a 19-year-old driver who lived out of Los Angeles, I want to say, and it was the uncle who let him borrow the car to go to and from work, and somehow he ended up in Paramount doing donuts. So
Unlicensed too, right?
Unlicensed as well. Oh, and just to add a little bit, at this point we are working on having a schedule for dedicated enforcement operations. And as part of that operation, this is all going to be grant funded. Sky Night is probably going to be part of the operations. So we're going to have a dedicated helicopter. Hopefully during that time of the operations, there is a scheduling issue that we have to work out.
And did you have something to add?
Yes, good evening. I think what we've seen in Lakewood is a decrease in the street takeovers, but I'm assuming that may have been just because of the incident that happened in Orange County where they had the death. So they've kind of slowed their takeovers down.
So it's across all neighboring cities, or you're seeing a decrease?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, since that incident.
Okay.
But because they do their things through social media.
Sure.
So it's a hit and miss when they're going to show up and where they're going to show up. but we've seen a decrease through our Lakewood Station area since that incident in Orange County.
John, did you have something you wanted to add?
No, Madam Mayor, I think everybody took care of it.
Okay.
Thanks. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. Second thing is the request is, John, maybe for you, we had talked a little bit about how we kind of communicate to the residents, whether it be social media, whether it be via email. And thank you for giving me the report of how many residents are attached to that email notice. But can we do some type of outreach effort or campaign to ask residents if they want to be notified via email, they're able to sign up to get that email? Because that email is really good. I'm sure you guys are receiving it. It has a lot of good information on there. So I think if we could do some type of outreach campaign, just, everybody's on email.
Absolutely.
To kind of get that out there.
For sure.
My third thing is talking a little bit about the general plan on our housing element. I know that we were all interviewed. I understand that they were going to do some community focuses interviews as well. Do we have a time frame of when that report will be ready on the housing element portion?
Barbara?
Yes. So we're probably maybe 5 or 6 weeks into the preparation of the report.
Okay.
It's a year-long process.
Yes.
So you'll probably be looking at a draft maybe in 10 or 11 months.
Okay. Wow. Okay. John, is there any maybe John on the Pocket
three of
Park
us turn
on
around.
Paramount? I'm looking at both Johns. Is there any status on the sale of that? Because I did see the sign; it was up, and then I saw the sign down.
The Pocket Park on Paramount
Yeah.
Boulevard. Yeah, we think. It's still in escrow with Mike Ferrero.
Okay.
The property owner has given him sort of an unlimited escrow period for no extra fee. So it's kind of just there's no end date at this point for it.
Wow.
The sign, Mike thinks it was probably just vandalism.
Oh.
Somebody probably just stole it.
Well, that's sad. Okay. I just didn't notice that it was gone. Okay. I know too that we had approved a consultant not too long ago for development. Has any progress been made with him? Has he been working on?
For that, go ahead, John.
Yes, in fact, I
Looking
met
at this,
with
John.
the consultant and their team out at the property. Let's see, it would have been on Thursday of last week.
Okay.
So they're putting a report together on that
Okay.
property.
Okay, that's good. Okay. Last thing I promise, this one's for Dave Johnson, because this is something everyone's been talking about this, and I actually wanted to ask you about this as well too. A community garden. I know you're going to look at me and with that look, because I know this has been so hard. But I've been doing some reading. Strong Towns has a lot of good articles about just right now with community gardens, how they're helping during this COVID process where you can't really get together, but it really helps like increase physical activity, improve mental health awareness. And I wasn't sure, I know that you guys had your community garden, but I wasn't sure if it's still up and around. But my thought process was, I know Mark Heppel was just, was purchased recently, right? I think the city, we were talked about that last council meeting. I'm not sure, I'm just throwing it out there. Is there like any possible room at Mark Heppel to possibly put some type of community garden there?
Are you referring to that small property that we deeded over to the school district?
Yeah.
Yeah, that part. I believe it's paved over on that
The
portion
paved?
that they already own where there's
We're using
trailers
it
on
for
there.
something already.
They're going to use it for something? Okay.
Yeah, actually, the school district or Mark Keppel has been using it for a while.
It's already been existing use. Okay.
Exactly, it's
They have
paved.
some
in.
kind of storage or something. there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is a good point, Brenda. And one of the things that we looked at as a community was just to make gardening available for people at their homes. So we're able to put a raised box if it can't be in their front yard, in their backyard. We had soil
that.
donated. So there are other ways that we could get involved as a city to help, do the sustainability, the gardening. And it's really cool to see kids who have never actually pulled like a turnip out of the ground to see that, hey, this is where it actually comes from,
Because I'm thinking that we have like 2 new Girl Scout groups that are in Paramount now that we've never had before, and then we have our Boy Scout group. So, we have like an audience, to kind of like engage more of our youngers. But I know, Dave, this is something like it's been a conversation for a long time, and I know it's not easy, but maybe again, we could just keep that on the book something and, have a discussion.
Identifying the space is the problem,
That's
right?
the problem.
That has always been the issue. If we can identify a space and we can work a deal, we'd be very happy to build another
right.
garden.
Is that a challenge?
What'd you say?
Is that
sure.
a challenge?
Of course it is.
All right.
But actually, it can just be added to some of the virtual programs we've been doing.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
see the reaction
Right,
of just,
right.
see the audience. That way, before we start trying to find this space.
We'll find a space. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. But okay, I'm going to make one last comment.
You said you were done.
I'm sorry, but no, because I wanted to go back to what she was talking about, the parking meetings, because I think, and when you look at the virtual neighborhood watch meetings, it's kind of like a one-way avenue. You know what I mean? It's like the deputies presenting, and any type of feedback from the community comes in a chat room. So I'm not sure how the parking community meeting could be done virtually, because I think, isn't there minutes and everything that have to be approved on that committee? So it's different. I don't know if it would work.
Well, it's different the way it's set up now, but I'm
Right.
saying sometimes you got to revisit something to see what we could bring about. I'm not saying the way it's structured right now.
No, sure. I'm just thinking virtually, though. I mean, it might be a little bit difficult. If you have to approve minutes, and if the residents want to speak, they're not going to be able to speak. So it may not be effective. That's just my
Unless they
opinion. but
submit their questions in advance.
I'm saying maybe it's something to think about and talk about. So
Yeah.
I'm done now.
Are you finished?
I'm finished.
Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to go to Councilmember Aguayo.
Just a couple of things. I've been just so overwhelmed by just not just the response, but the outreach of just the community. If you go through, like that Paramount community page, and people asking, who do I contact? Where can I go, to provide for a family during the holiday season? It really is a beautiful thing to see that, where people say, normally I have a big gathering. I'm not going to do that this year, for, obvious reasons. So I want to donate part of, or what I normally would use for my family. So it really is overwhelming and a beautiful thing. The other thing is, unfortunately, it's one of those things that we do need to talk about, the increase in COVID numbers. I think, I keep saying, this whole year has gone by, really, and we're kind of stuck in March. And there's a lot of people, do we wear the mask? I don't want to wear the mask. I'm tired of it. Whatever the case is. My sister was actually in the hospital a few months ago. She was exposed at work. She works at a hospital. And she said it was the worst thing she had ever experienced. When people found out, some of them would say, oh, well, about 99% of the people, they recover, or there's no symptoms. And that's fine. That's great. But there's still that 1%. And they matter just as much as those 99. Some of us may know people that have been very sick. Others may know somebody that actually has passed away. Underlying conditions or not, we still have to be careful. Because those people that have passed away, they were, again, somebody's aunt, uncle, brother, sister, grandparent. And it's not something anybody ever wants to deal with. And like I said, I think back to where my sister was, where she said, I didn't even want to talk to her on the phone because I felt like I was taking her breath away, every word she spoke. And she didn't even let us know right away. She waited until she was past the worst part of it before she let us know, not wanting to worry us or whatever the case was. But it is serious. It is out there. I don't know if it is 99% recovery or not, but there's still that small percentage of people that don't recover. So we each need to do our part, and let's remember to wear our masks. Holidays are gonna look a little different. Again, we're used to having a big family feast, and it's not going to happen this year. And we're okay with it. So that's it.
Because we want to be here for next Thanksgiving, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Councilmember Guillen.
Okay, so first, I thought about this community garden. Wait, first Brenda told me she forgot to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, so she passed me a note. So on behalf of Vice Mayor Olmos, happy Thanksgiving. Okay, on the garden, Progress Park Garden, that's been closed due to COVID and the schools, maybe we could reallocate that to the community for now, since it's the schools are closed, if we could possibly look at that avenue. And then we had mentioned before about contacting Iceland for their lot to the rear of the location because it's kind of unkept, and maybe they would allow a community garden. It would kill two birds with one stone. So on that, and then I got a lot of calls regarding the Veterans Day, and a lot of residents were really thrilled with their mask and T-shirt. They were so happy with that, so that was a positive note. And then I just want to say to the people who call in, we appreciate your calls. Some of the things that you mentioned, you know, we go home, we think about how we can incorporate your thoughts into things that need to be dealt with within the city. And I just want to clarify something that I said, and I talked about the Constitution and the Fourth Amendment that gives a person a right to privacy. I just wanted to clarify that, you know, it's been case law that says a person has the right to privacy within their home, but when you're on a public street, you know, you are open. You don't have the same rights to privacy that you do in your home, because if it's in a public place and somebody has a lawful right to see it, then you don't have that expectation. So I just wanted to make sure we recognize the Fourth Amendment, but there are a lot of exceptions to that. And then I just wanted to just reiterate, we are listening to the callers. We do listen. And I personally wanted to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. And during this time of COVID, I think we kind of have a time to reflect on the holidays and realize what's really important in life. And it's not, you know, always the things that we're buying or purchasing, but it's about quality time that we're missing out with our families. So if anything else, I think we've had a lot of time to reflect on what's really important in life. So to everyone in the community, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. I just want to ask a question. When you mentioned the schools closed, reallocate Paramount Park, you talked about that play area that's back
Behind Progress Park.
Yeah, so correct me, whoever, David probably if I'm wrong, but even when school's in session, our residents can use that play area, right?
No, not the play area.
The garden.
The garden behind Progress Park. That's part of the school. So right now, since school isn't in session, we should turn it over to the community.
Yeah, we have to talk to the school about accessing the property, right? It's
No,
there.
actually, that's city property. It's at the very east end of the park, between the park and the Edison, or the DWP right-of-way. We have a section of land that we did convert to a student garden. The issue with that, in terms of allowing the general public to use it, is that we used our ACES after-school funds to build that garden. And so I'd have to look into it, but I think we're very much limited on who we can allow to use that garden. It was built for the STAR after-school program.
Are they using it now?
No, because
So I mean, we should look. It shouldn't go to waste, you know.
Yeah, that's what we say, and see if we don't violate the contract is all.
Right.
Look out for the funds.
Even if
Not-
somebody from STAR pulled the vegetables out or whatever it was, and then and then, you know, we were able to give them to the community that lives in the neighborhood.
Well, what I'm hearing is I need to look at this garden and look for creative solutions.
Yeah. There you go.
Right.
That it, Councilmember Gann?
Yes, thank you.
Councilmember Quayre Stallings.
Oh, okay. Thank you. First of all, I wanted to thank Kat because I cooked with her a couple weeks ago. It was a lot of fun. I made a simple cobbler. It's an easy recipe and it's quick.
I gotta watch.
So you need to enjoy. Hopefully, you'll watch my video and enjoy it. It's really, really easy. I really enjoyed that. And we're going to go back. I heard this coming month, and go back and cook.
Do more
something else.
cooking?
Yeah, I'm planning. I have a
I got
special
banned from the
casserole
kitchen.
that I want to
I'm
cook.
like, oh.
And anyway, thank you for the updates on the donuts and speed racing that's been occurring.
I'm sorry if I could add a little bit more on that because I
Yes.
did forget to mention that we have had dedicated traffic cars on the weekends. So Fridays and Saturdays, we also added a dedicated car just for that.
Thank you. And also, what else did I have? I have to read my little notes. Okay, veterans were very happy. I did hear positive comments about that, especially my husband. He really liked his T-shirt. He thought it was really cool, and his mask. So, and then a couple other veterans that are my neighbors, they were very appreciative. And lastly, we need to stay, like our slogan says, stay safe, stay healthy, because we are paramount. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone, to our families, our residents, our directors, your families, and all our employees. You all work very hard for our city, and thank you, David, from the bottom of my heart. My grandchildren really thank you for making Halloween special, and they're looking forward to seeing what you're going to do for Christmas. But thank you so much.
No pressure.
Thank you, Velma.
You're welcome.
I have a few shout outs I want to give. I first want to say thank you again to Steve Camparulas. The information that we got about the homeless family that you were able to help again through reaching out, doing that extraordinary contact. Thank you so much. I think it's just such an extremely important job that you're doing in our city and the lives that you're touching, and that you're putting forth that extra effort and that personal touch, and the whole department that supports him in getting that done. It's just so meaningful, such great meaningful work. So thank you very much. I also wanted to give a shout out to Parks and Recreation, Dave and Yesenia, reading about your meetings with the families in Paramount with special needs children and all the efforts that you're putting forth to coordinate programs and services for them. And I understand that there's going to be a new director for the school district for the special needs children. So I think that's going to make it so much easier, you know, to facilitate you guys getting the feedback that you need as to how we can be, you know, of the most help and have that expertise that we so desperately need if we're going to be able to move forward and to fill that gap. So thank you guys. Thank you for working so hard to serve that segment of our population. And then I want to give a shout out to our city manager. Yes, John, I know it's your job, you know, to fulfill, you know, the desires of the council, but I've had the privilege of working with 4, I believe, outstanding city managers. But I have to tell you, for all of them, and guys, don't hate me because you all have your special place in my heart, and you contributed very special things to our community. But you are so incredibly open to anything that makes life better for the residents in this city, and looking for innovative ways to do it. And you just never hear a no. It's always, let me think about it. Let me try to find a way. Let's look at how it's possible. So I can just tell you, it isn't always that way. And it's just such a pleasure, you know, to work with someone who loves the city and cares about the people in it as much as we do. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I really appreciate that. Thanks.
And with that, I would like to add my congratulations with everybody else for a happy Thanksgiving. I too am used to traveling north every year and having Thanksgiving with my family who all lives up there, and there's usually about 60 of us. I can't say I haven't shed a few tears over not being able to go up and see them, but we're literally doing just our family at home. The numbers are skyrocketing across our nation. The hospital beds are full. Let's don't face that here. Let's support each other, stay at home if it's possible, follow the guidelines if you're going to do something with your family, be as careful as possible, do everything you can to stay healthy and stay happy, and let's have a great Thanksgiving celebration next year with our families. So please, everybody, do the best you can to be safe and follow the rules to protect your neighbor and your children and yourself. And John,
yes,
comments.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. It was brought up earlier about the gardening boxes. We will be taking to the City Council a one-year report on the gardening boxes at the next meeting. So that's very timely with the discussion that was just had about the gardening boxes. So I just want to let you know that that's coming before you. So as of right now, gardening boxes are allowed in the R2 zone, which is medium density, which is like condominium complexes, small apartment complexes.
And our RM zone also.
And RM, which is the larger apartment complex zones. So currently it's allowed in there. So we'll give you a status report on how that's coming, and we'll be able to provide you information on the ordinance.
Can we look at maybe expanding that to residential homes?
That's one of the considerations.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Right.
that's one of the considerations if the
present that to
council
you.
wants to look at that. That's one of the
Did you
reasons
say
why.
garden boxes?
Yeah, the gardening boxes, the council approved the ordinance last year.
But they are in resident. I thought we did approve.
Only in the R2 and RM, which is the medium density and high density housing. That's what the council
So
wanted.
the ones
at
that
the
went in my
time.
neighborhood weren't allowed?
No.
But I think that's
Yeah.
a good point because they haven't bothered anyone.
That's
They're
what I
really
thought.
nice.
I mean, we did R2 or whatever, because it's small.
You're R1 though, so yeah,
Yeah.
you're a resident. You're a single family. So what Councilmember Guillen is asking if it can be expanded, but that's at the desire of the council.
Yeah.
So if that's
I
something
see.
that-
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah. So.
Okay.
The second thing is, thank you very much again for the compliments, but I can't do it without my staff. They're just a wonderful, wonderful group of people. And when there are things that we want, innovative, creative things, I say, hold on your seats now. We're going to try this. So, but they're always willing to jump in and try it. So I applaud each and every one of them for being willing to open up and try new things. So thank you to that. And then just on behalf of the staff, happy Thanksgiving to all of you and to the community as well.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, with that, we're going to move into closed session. We have a conference with real property negotiators, government code section. I knew I should have left my glasses on. 54956.8 and conference with legal counsel anticipated litigation, section 54956.9. Okay, we now have an announcement from our city attorney regarding the closed session item.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The City Council did conduct a duly authorized closed session. There were 2 items that were listed under the closed session. One of them was conference with real property negotiators. That item was taken off calendar and not discussed by the City Council. The next item was conference with legal counsel regarding anticipated litigation, significant exposure litigation pursuant to paragraph 2 of subdivision D of section 54956.9. One potential case was discussed, but no action was taken which required publication. And that concludes my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Kavanaugh. And with that, we stand adjourned to December 15, 2020 at 5 p.m. Thank you.